Forbes India, CNBC-TV18 present India Inc. on the Move. Smart Manufacturing, powered by Rockwell Automation.
Hello and welcome to India Inc. on the Move. This is a Smart Manufacturing Summit by Forbes India and CNBC-TV18 in partnership with Rockwell Automation. As the combination of advanced manufacturing processes and diverse digital technologies continues to proliferate, leading to a digital transformation of manufacturing enterprises, we do see some pushback and resistance to technology adoption as well. While wireless communications, internet, innovative solutions, predictive maintenance do allow manufacturing industries to benefit from lowered adoption costs, the concerns are in the form of lack of standardization, skilling, and security issues that continue to bedevil the users. The industry is taking its lead in getting the real issues on the table in front of the technology partner so that they can put their energies and focus in coming out with solutions that address the real concerns of the users and in a manner that the users want. With that in mind, we've put together for you a wholesome panel. Joining me today to discuss and share the experiences of technology adoption undertaken by firms in their own operations, sharing the knowledge of working with various customers by technology players and innovative startups, we welcome Dilip Sani, who's the Managing Director of Rockwell Automation India. Manoranjan Kumar, who's the CIO at Shree Cement, joins in too. Vineet Jaiswal, who's the Deputy CEO of Center of Excellence for Vedanta Resources, as well, joins in. And we do have Dilip Kumar Mohanty, who's the Director of Production at NMDC as well. Thanks a lot, gentlemen, for joining in. So let's kickstart with Mr. Mohanty. Mr. Mohanty, heavy industry is in a state of transition as equipment commodities or equipment commodifies. Manufacturers will focus on delivering superior customer support as a point of differentiation. What technologies, according to you, are being leveraged, and what are the trends to watch out for in this year?
Presently, the main focus point, because there are increasing in cost, then reducing margins, declining productivity and efficiency. Then whenever you set up an industry and go for production, either in a mining sector or in a heavy industry, there is always a protest from the locals. Then nowadays a new concept has come that increasing focus on the ESG compliances, issues around workman's safety, online skill availability, etc. Keeping in mind of everything, there is a state of transition now. Like earlier cases, we used to go for most of the items in a mechanical basis or so. Now we are giving more importance towards digitalization, where we are thinking of going ahead with automation, robotics, then digital hardware, which includes initiatives such as autonomous operation and robotics and smart sensors. And these are all equipped with different type of machines and equipments which you are going to get, well supported by software and cloud-based monitoring system. And from the mining perspective, I can say they have started the digital transformation journey, and in a small way in India we have started it, because here the problems are there. There are very, very small areas where people that do mining. Whereas NMDC, it is the biggest merchant miner in the country, but there are many miners, those who are having small scale mining activity they do. And the terrain is also different. Here it is hilly and other type of terrain is not a flat like in Australia and other countries. So depending on this, we have to deal with certain aspects which is linked to the terrain and your place of work. And considering all the aspects, and NMDC is a company which is also on the path of going for a digital transformation, and it needs a lot of cost involvement, and we are all going ahead of that because we have to increase our efficiency, and our cost of production also has to come down, keeping in view it is already in that line.
All right, interesting insights out there. Just wanted to understand from you, Mr. Jaiswal, and if you could comment on this. It's currently impossible to talk about how intelligent technologies keep heavy industries up and running without at least mentioning safety. Could you share your comments on this?
There are multiple things technology brings on the safety side of it. I'll give few examples. First, let me talk about AR/VR, which is very commonly used in many companies now. This is like more submersive. People understand it better. I was actually at one of my plants and I was experiencing it myself. It felt like how I'm climbing, what can happen if I don't follow the instructions or if I don't follow the rule book. So this kind of submersive experience gives someone a better or make them better trained rather than having them listen to a topic by an expert. So this is one side of it, using AR/VR. Another one which you have seen that is on the drone side of it. Examples like working at height. Instead of a human going and checking it, can drones do that? I have seen that happening now. Using computer vision technology. This is more on smart cameras, which can do a lot of things, from anomaly detection to geofencing, geotagging, confined space. All these things can be done by cameras. Just smart cameras capturing the data and providing you all the insights, rather than having many people continuously watching many cameras. So this is another great example of it. Robotics. There is, and I know Dilip also talk about robotics. This is one of the key pillar to this transformation on the safety side. Many things which is very tough terrain or things which is like very tough for human. If robots can replace that, it will bring safety, though it will also bring consistency. So the overall productivity can go better. So many things on the safety front, from AR/VR to drones to computer vision to robotics, mobile apps, it is impacting heavily on the safety side of it. And at Vedanta, we are quite focused on that, and we definitely want this to become one of the best.
We take that point, and for a lot of people who would be watching right now, they might not completely comprehend the advantages of smart manufacturing for heavy machinery as well as the equipment industry. Mr. Sani, so I'd like you to come in on this and explain what are the other advantages of smart manufacturing for both heavy machinery as well as the equipment industry, because it's something that everyone looks at just as hardware. I'm sure there is a mix of both hardware and software that makes it much smarter.
Your question to me was specific to equipments in the heavy industry, right? Now, equipments in heavy industry not only end up being, large, high value assets, but they're usually also pretty critical, no matter whether they are in the process side of the plant or in the utility areas. There's usually, a fairly high dependence on uptime and availability of these assets. Digital technologies are actually making a game-changing difference, to the heavy industry equipments, because right from the product design stage, where you're able to practically virtually commission these equipments, right? So that you can have as few incidents of errors while commissioning, so you get the quickest possible startup and alignment and aggregation across the plant. So right from the design stages to the runtime. But probably the most useful impact of these technologies is for the equipments that are already running, right? There are a number of use cases that are already permeating across the industry, which are in the area of preventive and sometimes even prescriptive maintenance. All of these use cases eventually are doing what? They're actually making the asset available to you for either a longer time period, or at least they're alerting you when there is a likelihood of the asset going down. And this is giving you not only greater productivity, but this is also allowing you to coordinate the rest of the plant actions in a much more effective manner, right? So there are fewer surprises and you stay in greater control. And when you're in greater control, you're well coordinated, sometimes across the value stream, across areas of the plant, and sometimes across your plant and your downstream customers as well. That is giving you business advantage, right? Increasingly, there is use of digital technologies in helping simulate, right? So when you're, say, oftentimes we use this phrase called the digital twin, Well, it sounds very catchy, but it has got a very, very important sort of use in the heavy industry scenarios, because sometimes carrying out abrupt changes to the operating conditions of these heavy equipments may not be very judicious. But when you work in a digital realm as opposed to the physical realm, you're able to carry out those changes, simulate what will be the impact on the process. And when you're satisfied with the changes that you want to carry out, you can actually carry it out in the physical realm with full confidence that it is going to give you just the desired operations, as opposed to some spikes of any sort which might impact your process quality or product quality.
That makes sense. That is fairly insightful, and I'm sure those who haven't embarked on this journey yet will be motivated to go ahead. So, Mr. Kumar, how, according to you, is Industry 4.0 transforming the manufacturing ecosystem? What opportunities do you see for Indian enterprises?
Initially, this Industry 4.0 was taken by most of the manufacturing companies as a buzzword. But now when we and the manufacturing industry, which they have experienced that yes, this is a tool or this is a solution which is really going to help the entire industry in a multifold kind of thing. The bottom line, the smart manufacturing, and a lot of informations are also planned to come using all those data which are connected through machine and machine SCADA or PLC, that kind of thing is connected. So a lot of data is coming for information like analytics or maybe related information which will be used for manufacturing purpose and also for the business enablement purpose. So in our kind of industry, like if we talk about the cement industry or maybe metal industry kind of thing, there these kind of tools are not been introduced as of now. Partly, yes, we are using these kind of tools like industrial Internet of Things, using machine connectivity with the ERP. So those kind of things we have started using and looking at the benefit. Now, we will be going ahead on Industry 4.0.
What we also wanted to understand, and this one specifically from Mr. Monty and Mr. Jaiswal, we start with Mr. Monty. How can AI and the industrial Internet of Things, IIoT as we know, optimize resources and increase operational efficiency? Could you share a few examples in your work life so far where you've seen these?
Actually, this IoT describes basically the network devices systems that are embedded with the sensors, because nowadays we are using a lot of sensors and we are going for that also. Software and other technologies for the purpose for connecting and accessing the data. The application of IoT in heavy industries and all other industries like mining sector also, we are using it for this exploration and all the equipment devices which is connected to the drilling, blasting or HMI equipment, or in a heavy industries like motors, then rollers, then any other equipment used for production. And we are already in NMDC also in the process of implementation of this. Just I will give some examples. Like with this Internet of Things, we are able to get the data related to the rock structure. Because I am in a mining sector, I will just emphasize certain things that related to rock structure, strata provided for drilling, blasting, and for subsequent mining.
Okay, Mr. Jaiswal, you go ahead.
Let's start from the edge. Edge computing is a very powerful thing on the AI and IoT front. It will help, or rather it helps industry, especially predicting like phosphorus, silica, Fe. Earlier, it would have taken a lot of time to do that and come back. And so increasing the entire throughput just by having an edge computing. Another one can be predictive maintenance. Instead of going for a traditional time-based maintenance or condition monitoring, companies are now moving to predictive maintenance, where they know when exactly machine is going to fail, what's the OEE, and based on that, do a better planning. That's another example. Third is the quality side of it. And it can be in many places. Instead of depending on human, if a machine can tell the quality, it will be much more accurate, right? And the subjectivity would go away. Another example can be integrated supply chain. I know one of the panelists talk about it. It is a huge area. First, IoT providing the data, and AI helping it plan it better. What it will do is actually it will help the company in understanding the entire value chain. Where are the bottlenecks? Where companies can really put effort and improve it. So overall, AI and IoT has got a huge potential. I will not talk about optimizing resources, rather using the resources at right places, and definitely it will increase the efficiency overall for the company.
Right. So, Mr. Sani, then can you give us a sense of extracting data out of silos? Because most heavy industry players already have majority of the data that they need. And, the essential new requirement is to extract that data coming in from silos across the organization and bring it together as a unified, accessible form. In that case, what do you think would be the role of predictive analytics, big data in predicting these maintenance needs, performing the necessary repairs, and avoiding downtime, as was spoken about Mr. Monty earlier?
Our assets, digital assets that we use in our personal lives, which are 2, 3, 4 years old, when you go into heavy industry in particular, it's not uncommon to run across control systems that were installed 15, 20, 25 years ago, right? And we still have in India equipments and control systems that were installed a couple of decades back, and we are still supporting that, right? So, you must have that context. Now, this data is coming out, but data cannot be accessed, right? Because this data was never really brought on a common platform and was never really treated like an asset, right? And that's the plain truth. This realization has come in over the more recent times, right? So you have two problems. One is having the ability to access that data. But let's say you've been able to access the data. What do you do with that? Because that data in and of itself lacks the context which makes it valuable for you. And what I mean by context is, take an example. Let's say the data is whether a particular motor was on or off, right? Okay, so you've been able to access that data that at such and such time, this motor was on and at another time it was off, right? But the context is still missing. The context really is was a particular production process going on at the same time or not? Because then you can correlate and see, okay, yeah, the motor was off at a point in time when the process required it to be on. I'm just citing a simple example, right? So you need to not only liberate the data from that device where it is lying trapped and expose it to the wider organization, but you need to also contextualize the data, right? That is very, very important. So once you've been able to liberate and contextualize the data, it becomes valuable asset for you. And then you can begin to, if you've been able to then get it onto a common platform, right? That's when it begins to become interesting, because then you can begin to apply a lot of these techniques, right? Such as, pairing industrial AI with, you've already heard a couple of us talk about predictive maintenance strategies, right? This combination can begin to then give you, just as one example, right, insights into your asset performance, right? And you are not only then able to analyze what's happened in the past, it actually equips you to be able to predict, right, which way your asset performance is headed, and when is it that your asset is likely to fail, right? And that's a very powerful thing to have.
Well, Manoranjan, what exactly influences the decision process of choosing the right technology partner for your DX journey? How much importance would you, again, like I said, imply on domain expertise vis-a-vis technology?
This technology is there in the market. A lot of solutions are available. But identifying the correct partner is really a challenge here in India and for the Indian industries, a lot of partners are coming forward that saying that we have done similar kind of implementation, but somewhere the knowledge and the experience are lacking behind in those partners. So the partners are very important also, because if they have these kind of experiences, and if they want, they can show those benefit to the organization will go on for these kind of things. Identifying a correct partner, it takes time. And if we go for multiple partner kind of thing, it's try one partner. If they fail, try the second partner. Doing that way, it is really a waste of money, and then people are also not getting confidence for adopting these kind of new technologies. So identifying partner is critical. Availability of partner, an experienced partner, is also a challenge here. There are partners available, but it's very expensive.
Right. And final question then to Mr. Sani. Mr. Sani, when it comes to asset-intensive industries, something like power generation, you have water, wastewater, cement, metals, etc. Going digital or trying to modernize every aspect of the legacy infrastructure is not realistic and extremely cost prohibitive. So how would you suggest they should go about it? Should there be an incremental approach to this digital transformation and focus first on initiatives that increase the uptime and reliability instead? What would you suggest this path to be?
We have to develop approaches that allow us to make this new technology relevant in brownfield settings, right? So that's the responsibility of folks like us to make sure that relevant use cases are created and established so that they can be utilized and accepted by the industry. I would say that these technologies need to be seen as powerful assets. I would even call them as superpowers that actually allow you to get accelerated ROI on your legacy equipments, on your legacy investments, right? So of course you need to have, a way of, I was talking about how data, though getting generated, was inaccessible. So you need to think about how do you create access into the existing control systems, and there are ways and techniques of doing that. But almost always what you need to be bearing in mind is that you don't have to be putting technology first. You got to be putting the outcomes or the business benefit that you want to derive out of that technology implementation first. I mean, that really has to be primary. So I would say in summary that yes, you do need to have a well thought out approach. You need to have multiple, teams need to come up and put multiple different, digital use cases, and they should be a healthy competition on the ones which are, creating a bigger business impact and have a higher degree of success, right?
Gentlemen, this has been an extremely enriching, insightful conversation. Thank you so much for taking the time out and helping our viewers understand the importance of automation in manufacturing. Thank you.
Forbes India, CNBC-TV18 present India Inc. on the Move. Smart Manufacturing, powered by Rockwell Automation.